and you get into the habit of skipping steps, it's like getting in the habit of not using your turn signal. And then, if you hit somebody when you change lanes and they didn't know you were coming, it's your fault. So, I don't want you getting a ticket in this class. So, don't do that. Okay, now I've got my critical value. Now I need to calculate my observed values. Okay, so here's my critical value. Now I'm going to calculate my observed values. And I'm going to have 3 observed values for this study. And that's because I have 3 conditions, and that means I have 3 pairs. I can compare condition 1 with condition 2, condition 1 with condition 3, and condition 2 with condition 3. Okay? So let's remind ourselves, for mean 1, here we're talking about people with affective disorders. What was their mean length of stay in the hospital? 6. And what about group 2? That was the cognitive disorders group. What was their mean length of stay? 9. And what about the third group, drug-related conditions? What was their mean length of stay? 10. So we know that each one of these groups, so this is the affective disorders group, this is the cognitive disorders group, and this is the drug-related conditions group. So now what we're trying to figure out, we know that somewhere among these means there is a significant difference. What we don't know is if only one of them is different from the other 2, or if they're all different from each other. Now what we've learned by doing this calculation over here is that any 2 means in our study have to be at least 2.83 apart to be truly different from each other. Otherwise, it's just a numerical difference that could be the result of chance. Just who we happen to be in the study. Okay? It's not a real difference. So now we're going to calculate the difference for each pair of conditions. And we're going to do it as an absolute value, because we just want to know how far apart they are from each other. We don't care the direction of the effect right now. So first I want to compare the mean for group 1 and the mean for group 2.
3.
3. Okay, those are 3 apart from each other. Then I want to compare the mean for group 1 and the mean for group 3. How far apart are they from each other? Then I want to compare the mean from group 2 and the mean from group 3. How far apart are they from each other? 1. So like I said before, we know from getting our HSD critical value that our numbers have to be at least 2.83 apart to count as significantly different. So, is this first comparison significantly different? Is that a significant?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Is the second comparison significantly different?
Yes.
Yes. Is the third comparison significantly different?
No.
No. How's what significantly different? Okay. So remember, these are observed values. So all we need to know is, are these values more extreme than this? And they are. This is the smallest difference you can have between 2 conditions in this study and have it be significant. That's what this number means. So if any of our paired comparisons, any of our comparisons are more different than that, they're significantly different from each other. So let's talk about what these numbers mean in words. So if I know that mean 1 is the length of stay for affective disorders group, and mean 2 is the length of stay for the cognitive disorders group, and I know that there's a difference of 3, and I can see that this number is smaller than this number. So here's what that means. It means that patients with affective disorders stay in the hospital a significantly shorter period of time than patients with cognitive disorders. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Effectively, it means 6 weeks is a significantly shorter stay than 9 weeks. So patients with affective disorders stay in the hospital a significantly shorter period of time than patients with cognitive disorders. That's what this 3 here means, and the fact that it's significant. They stay in there short. Now, this comparison, the second one, this is comparing people with affective disorders and people with drug-related conditions. And it's also significant. And if I look at the numbers, 6 and 10, I can see, hey, these people are staying shorter amount of time than this, and it's significant, so patients with affective disorders also stay in the hospital a significantly shorter period of time than people with drug-related conditions. Shut up. We're almost done. And lastly, there is no difference in the length of stay for patients with cognitive disorders and drug-related conditions. Do you see that? So that means, now we talked about the summary for our ANOVA. I just summarized the post-hoc. Right, now let me put those together for you. I want you to just listen. We'll do it. We'll start again at this point, at the beginning of the next class. Right, so here's what we know from the ANOVA. The length, or I should put it this way. So the length of time a patient stays in the hospital is influenced by his or her diagnosis. Okay, we know that. Specifically, patients with affective disorders spend a significantly shorter time in the hospital than patients with either cognitive disorders or drug-related conditions. However, there is no difference in the length of stay for patients with cognitive disorders and drug-related conditions. Does that make sense? Okay. Go get something to eat, go to lab, and I will see you guys on Thursday to wrap this up and to do related groups and notes.
Thank you for letting me use it.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
I need to print one out.
Yeah, you're going to be using that the rest of the semester.
Yeah, I have it in my box.